Yo, speaking about girl dad, I seen a meme recently. They were talking about it was something like along the lines. I gotta research it. It was basically along the lines. Shout out to everybody who was screaming girl dad when Kobe died, but is now endorsing Snoop Dogg and his comments towards Gayle King. Hashtag girl dad.
Yeah, they
yo,
wild.
it's getting spicy on. Yo, what is going on? What is going on social media, man? This is like social media and TV media like meets each other kind of thing. It's crazy, right?
So, but all right, let's rewind real quick though, in case. I mean, I don't know how people don't know, but they should know what Gayle said, right?
Yeah.
Well, she had an interview with Lisa Leslie, and during that interview, she was pressing the 2003 case, the rape case. Kobe, got caught in Colorado. That was eventually dismissed, settled out of court. So she was pressing it, and a lot of people got upset that one, that she brought it up, and two, that even after Lisa Leslie answered her question, she still kind of pushed. So, naturally that upset a lot of people.
Yep.
What was she interviewing her for? Any idea?
Well, so the part that's on the internet is a little segment. I think it was NBC or CSNBC or one of those TV outlets. But it's like from what I saw, it was like a 5-minute little clip just honoring Kobe and his legacy. So Lisa Leslie, she's a WNBA star. She's like one of the best, right? Like to ever play.
Yeah, she was considered for the LA Sparks too. So she was playing around the time.
She came in the game around the same time as him, right?
Right. So they were both in LA at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so she was a good friend with Kobe, and she took her through, I guess, like remembering the jerseys, how big of a Jordan fan he was. And then she brought up, she brought up a lot of things. She was like, how did Kobe contribute to the WNBA and the females in general? And in between that's when she kind of threw in the question. And she did say some find it complicated, Kobe Bryant's legacy complicated due to the case that happened, the rape case. And then I guess where it starts from is just starts from right there to the ending of that whole topic right there.
She asked her, she said, is it complicated for you as a woman, as a WNBA player?
Yeah. So a lot of, I don't know if people were so upset about her bringing it up, even though I'm hearing that a lot. I think it's her approach to it, right? It was like the little comments in between that you can tell a little bit, or it seemed like her opinion towards the situation was negative rather than a positive. You know what I'm saying? But that's only if you draw that conclusion. I mean, I don't know what y'all got from it, but when she said, "Oh, you wouldn't be able to tell because you're his friend," that was like a little like, all right, like you're trying to throw shade, right? Or when she said, "Yeah, the case got dismissed." I mean, she did say something that's factual. She said, yeah, because the female did not testify. So that's why but it still was like in a negative, you're an interviewer, right? So it's like you want to bring out the conversation and ask questions and do journalism, right? To the best of your ability. But it seems like her opinion was also little throwing jabs, you know what I mean?
Right. I could kind of see it both ways though, man. Like, because you guys remember that comedian Ari Shaffir had said the same thing, right? So for her to say, like, some people say it's complicated, that makes sense, right? But then given their history, Gayle and Oprah, given their history, in regards to like the documentaries that they've done on Michael Jackson, what they said about Bill Cosby and who else? Russell Simmons,
Uncle Russ.
Right. You kind of like in that context, man. you kind of wonder, like, yo, you trying to be funny? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like the man just passed away. Like, you know, like, bro, like, and like 50 said, right? I think it was 50 who said, like, why didn't y'all bring that up like when the man was alive? You know, like, I think he's right. You know, because it's not his accuser that's coming up and saying this. You know what I mean? It's like outside people. Yeah, so it's definitely difficult. But what did Snoop Dogg say? Do you guys have that? I mean, obviously you can't you can't really say everything.
Let Ant say it.
Well, I gotta say it.
You, what is it? You funky dog.
Funky dog face. Yeah, Snoop went off, yo.
Yeah. So basically, I guess Snoop went online, right? It was on his IG. So I guess this is a new way of communicating. You go on IG and you communicate yourself. And he basically said, Gayle, why are you doing this? I thought you was us, our own people. How could you do this, you know, to us kind of thing? Let my homie rest in peace, you know. Why is it you always coming at us? Why don't you come at Harvey Weinstein, you know, others, people that have been convicted of these things? And then he basically curses her out.
Yeah.
And he says, I don't want to call you one. I don't want to call you one. And then he calls her one.
Right.
He calls her a female dog.
Right. He's like, should I do it? Should I do it? And then I guess he answered himself because I don't know who he was talking to. But yeah, he approved. He approved of himself.
He basically convinced himself to say it. Right. He said it. And then he said, what was it? Keep on, we're gonna come for you, or something like that.
Yeah, he said some wild like that.
So some people took that as threats. Some people, like I said in the meme, they were offended. You know,
look, that's how I took it. I mean, you know what I mean? The way he was all basic, you know what I mean? He said it with his chest out. It sounded like he was making a legitimate threat to me, you know what I mean? And I would have took it the same way Gayle took it. She got armed security and everything. Like, all right, you gonna come for me? Cool. I got something for them dudes that come through that door. You know what I mean? Like you can't be talking greasy like that, man. Especially when you consider yourself a street dude. You know, even though you got to show with Martha Stewart, you know, she's probably more gangster than him, but that's besides the point. You know?
But he's you know, and also he's affiliated, right? Like he's gang affiliated.
I mean, how affiliated is he, bro? Like he's been rich since the mid '90s. You know what I mean? Like he's been living in a gated community since the mid '90s. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
you know,
you got to show with Martha Stewart. How gang affiliated are you? You know, the streets may love you. Don't get it twisted. But how gang affiliated are you, man?
Well, what I mean is
Martha Stewart. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what I mean is like he has a voice to the streets, right? Like you said, like the streets love him. So him saying that, I can see how she gets paranoid because it's just like the same thing with. What was it? Kanye. I think people were threatening Kanye at one point. I think Daz Dillinger or somebody was just basically threatening Kanye. And then the whole hood was like against Kanye. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we see Kanye as smoke. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so for him to say that, you know, and he's considered like a big homie. And when it comes to being a Crip, right? It's almost like, oh, it's a green light because he said it. Even though maybe he's not affiliated, it's still like, oh, he said it. So when we see her, you know, you never know. You know, you never know what anybody's thinking. You know what I'm saying? Especially out in LA.
Right. I mean, and she responded accordingly. You know what I mean? If somebody, like I said, if somebody like Snoop or anybody like says something to that effect, I'm gonna respond accordingly. You know, I'm gonna take it as a threat and not, you know. It ain't gonna be no like I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and say it was just, you know, Twitter fingers. Like, no.
Yeah. And I brought it up in the Kobe episode because I was hearing, I mean, not that his legacy was complicated, but that some people were trying to say like this is some kind of karma for what happened, you know, with the whole rape situation.
Right.
And when I brought it up was because I was hearing about it. So I could see how Gayle, like she said, is, you know, in the circle she runs with, right? Because she's part of Me Too, and it seems like they're heavily involved with these issues. It was like, okay, I have to bring this up because, I mean, she's kind of like one of the faces of that, right? It's like, how am I gonna just sit here and not mention it? And then I go back to my circles, and they're gonna be like, "Well, why you didn't bring this up? Or why you didn't mention that?" Right? So it's like she's hearing it. Let's talk about it. And I feel like she also gave Lisa Leslie the platform to clarify some things. You know what I mean? Like what Lisa Leslie said was good stuff. Like it was just like, nah, he was never one of those dudes that was hounding women.
Right. And you never heard no other allegations like that from him, right? Like,
No.
I could see something like let's say like Bill Cosby, right, where he's been convicted, and there's like
60 different cases, right?
Like just something wild, you know what I mean? Like for decades to before any of us were even born. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, this is a pattern. Dude has a history, you know what I'm saying? Like even Weinstein, you know what I mean? But like Kobe, you didn't hear that.
Right.
I'm not buying it though.
Yeah, I'm buying what? What you mean?
I'm not buying that with the Gayle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I get it. It's journalism and all of that, but I don't buy her reasoning as far as why. You know what I'm saying? Because again, Lisa Leslie answered the question, but then Gayle took it a step further with but you didn't see it though. You know what I'm saying?
So you wouldn't see it because you're his friend.
Right, basically. You know what I'm saying? So now that's like she's just interjecting how she really feels about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you pushing it that far, then she wasn't really being considerate, and she wasn't really doing it to say, oh, you know, these are the questions that are going to come up. Nah, she was doing it now. She's doing it for what they say now, clout, or she was doing it for clicks or to gain attention, because what was the point of that? She already answered your question. If that's what your intentions was, why you got to keep pushing it? But I mean, Lisa Leslie handled it. Even the second time, she handled it real well. But the fact that she pushed it a little further, then that's what makes it real, you know, corny that she did that. And then to turn around and be like, oh, well, blame it on the CBS folks for the way they chopped it up and put it out there, you know, I mean, which I don't see how that's anybody's fault. She asked the question. You know what I'm saying? She knew what she was asking.
I go with that. I blame the network.
How do you blame the network? She was okay when they...
I mean, listen.
When
she could...
Mm-hmm. Know what you were saying?
No, go ahead.
She was okay the way they edited the R. Kelly joint and put it out there for her benefit. You know what I'm saying? She was okay with that.
I mean, do you think she has a say like that to be like, yeah, leave this clip, take this out?
I mean,
I think it seemed like they wanted the same sort of reaction as
what they got
with the R. Kelly.
Yeah, they wanted that reaction. Yep.
They wanted that reaction, and then they was like, okay, we're gonna run with this, you know. So, and obviously they got some reaction.
They did. So, but see, the R. Kelly thing, he did it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody gonna do that and put that out there, like, yo, look at this fool, I'm putting this out there. The other thing, she did it. Yo, it wasn't like I just don't see how you edit that to make it look a certain way when
that's what happened. Yeah, it was just like a 1 minute clip. It wasn't like they moved words around and made it sound to imply anything, or even like sometimes you'll see like they'll edit a reaction that wasn't even part of that. You know what I mean? But they're like, it wasn't even that. It was just the actual clip, because I saw a clip on YouTube, and I was like, when I heard it, like I thought it was disrespectful, but I didn't think it was taken out of context or anything like that. And also, like, I gave her the benefit of doubt, because like I said, up until the point where she said, oh, come on, you ain't gonna see it though. Up until that point, like, I gave her the benefit of the doubt, because I was like, oh, Ari Shafir would, said something foul. And a lot of people online were saying, like Switch said, people were saying it was karma or whatever. So when she asked the question, I was like, okay, cool. Let's address the elephant in the room. You know what I mean? She said, Lisa Leslie said what she said, you know what I mean? Like that ain't him, and there's evidence of that because there's no proof that he's lived that type of lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like what we've seen is him being a good dad,
Yo, for real.
Right. So
and she cleared it up. One thing I did like, I think either 50 or you guys had sent me someone, they basically said, look, man, the court took care of it, right? So at the end of the day, despite how anybody feels, the justice system felt, whether we think it's flawed or not, the justice system felt, that he wasn't guilty at the end of the day because the female decided not to testify, right? I do see the shade from her part because she could have also brought up other things. This female, according to some reports, she's schizophrenic. When that whole incident happened, there was about like a bunch of different men semen inside her when they did the DNA. So why didn't Gayle bring up those points as well? You know what I mean? To say, well, she's maybe this female is not as reliable. She's looking
not gonna get you views. It's not gonna get you clicks.
Yeah,
right.
Or she's looking for a come up.
I mean, and what your man did. What your man did with the whole Central Park 5 case, right? She could have done the same thing and analyzed the case and been like, "Yo, this is what happened with the case," but none of that wasn't what the conversation was about. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that's what she could have done. She could have brought up the case, like, "Look, these are the errors in the case," or "This is whatever." She didn't do that. They did it for the clicks, man.
Right, because it wasn't about the case. She just wanted to bring that little piece up.
It wasn't about the case at all. It was about the clicks, and now they're paying the price for that because they, the networks are hearing it from 50, they're hearing it from Snoop and all their audience.
Everybody.
Yep.
And Oprah crying, talking about she's hurt. Like, man.
Yo, she was on
Are you serious?
Yeah, she was on the show recently that she's fearing for her life,
Well, I mean, they're sending them death threats, supposedly.
So how is Oprah involved?
That's her friend.
Oh,
okay.
So you know what I'm saying? So she's like, oh, she's crying for her, but everybody's like, yo, and there's a few people I saw saying. Matter of fact, I saw Ricky Smiley talking about it. He was like, you know what I'm saying? Gayle is hurt. Gayle is. What about Vanessa Bryant? Like you decided to take this time out to bash her husband. He was like, yo, think of it like this. What if she's at the house, right? She's planning, the kids are, you know what I'm saying? He's like, remember now, she's planning, she's looking at 2 caskets. She's looking at getting a suit, a dress. Imagine she's at the house trying to do all of this and the TV was on CBS while she's doing this interview.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, think about stuff like that. And you just doing that just because you want the popular interview for this time? Like, come on, man. That was corny. I mean, there's plenty of stuff he could have asked. She could have asked Lisa Leslie. You know what I'm saying? And people right now, people would have been watching because people are there's a lot of attention to anything Kobe related right now.
Yeah.
So her interview would have been something to watch anyway without that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, right. I don't, I mean, of course, like, I don't think that anybody should go as hard as like Snoop went and some other people, because that just causes more drama. And I don't think that Gayle, I don't think
Gayle wasn't ready for the smoke. That's for sure.
She didn't want that smoke.
Yeah, I don't think Gayle did anything that was crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? That was like, yo, this is crazy wild, you know what I mean? Like she said something like that comedian said that was like slanderous. I think that I just think that she let her opinion or her emotions kind of seep out in the interview. You know what I mean? But overall, with all this being said and done, like the word is clear when it comes to slander. Like, the word says, speak no evil on no one. You know what I'm saying? Like, and slander, you can read tons of scriptures on slander through Proverbs, through Psalms, through everything. You know what I mean? So when we're speaking about people, we have to be careful that we're not slandering people. And I see a lot of slander coming out of this situation. You know what I mean? I see a lot of people, You know, just the comments on IG. I mean, you know, sometimes you read it and you just cringe. You like, how could these people say that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
You know how people can say it because they're behind a keyboard. They won't say that to your face.
yeah, but I also think it's because that's how their heart is. You know what I mean? Like their heart really wants to say that, and social media gives them that outlet to say it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Social media definitely exposes people. That's for sure.
Like yo, I put it up. I put like the girl dad meme on my Facebook page, and then I had a homeboy, and he was like bugging out, and I didn't even want to debate with him because I was like, we'll probably end up here debating, and he was like, yeah, Gayle, that effing this and F. I was like, oh my goodness, like, like why do we speak about people like that? You know what I mean? Why are we? I don't know, man. Like, why are we so malicious towards each other? You know?